Ms. Gamble wants this court to believe that the Fifth Amendment has no place in this analysis. The Fifth Amendment and its multiple violations in this case are completely relevant to whether the search was reasonable. The violation of the Fifth Amendment is related to the violation of the Fourth Amendment. The unreasonableness with which he was treated by the police officers, despite his clear invocations, can be used to determine whether this search was reasonable. It wasn't reasonable. He told them, I don't want to answer your questions. Per Officer Fortune, clear invocation, or Officer Thornhill, clear invocation of his right to remain silent. It doesn't mean, hey, you can keep talking at me like I'm a puppet. It says, look, I don't want to have a conversation with you. We go all the way back to Miranda to see this. He clearly tells them, just don't talk to me. I don't want to engage with you. Yet, they keep talking. Ms. Gamble states that they simply explained, or Officer Fortune simply explained the blood draw process. Well, it's not an explanation when you ask Mr. Bustos, starting like chit-chat, hey, are you willing to go through the blood draw? From Officer Fortune's own mouth, on recording. It wasn't an explanation. He asked him, hey, you want to do this? And we heard all three officers say, well, interrogation and interviews are used to gain evidence and information, and they aren't always aggressive. They aren't always butting heads. That information and compliance can be gained more by establishing a rapport, by joking around and being jovial, which is exactly what Officer Fortune did. The violation of Mr. Bustos' right to counsel, again, we go back to Miranda. You see in Miranda, and this was kind of fun for me to go back and read the original opinion, we go back and see that when someone invokes their right to counsel, that is them slamming the garage door down and saying, look, I don't want to interact with you without an attorney. There was no testimony that Mr. Bustos reinitiated conversation, which is what the standard is. We heard testimony that they continued to initiate the conversation and kept pushing and kept talking and kept asking questions. So he says, I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to interact with you without my attorney. He doesn't start a conversation with them. And Officer Fortune not only explains, but asks him whether he will give him blood. The violation of the Fifth Amendment is clear here, and that violation is within the sphere of reasonableness of this search. They could have easily gone with the search warrant. They had the paper drawn. They had it at the station. Officer Fortune was briefed by Banuelos or Lee. He thinks Banuelos. Arresting Officer Lee was in the van. He knew about the invocations. And despite that, he just said, hey, can I go talk to this guy? It doesn't matter if it was in part so Mr. Bustos wouldn't freak out when he got the blood draw. He can explain it, how it's going to be done, when the search warrant's there. He can explain the process even if the search warrant isn't there. But he doesn't get to ask, hey, you want to give me your blood? He doesn't get to ask that. They had an avenue to collect evidence, and they bypassed it. They bypassed the appropriate avenue, which was the search warrant, which they all understood they were supposed to be doing. That's why they filled out the paperwork. For what was just easier, which was talk to him, ask him if he'll give us his blood. There was a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this, and they did it the wrong way. It was unreasonable the way they did it. And it rewards police for ignoring a person's clear invocations. And it teaches them, if we just keep going, if we just keep going, if we just keep asking, even if it's real nice, that we can get what we need. Your Honor, this search was unreasonable in every aspect. And based on that, we'd ask you to suppress the evidence.
Thank you.